Hello and welcome to Access You TV. My name's Michelle Edhouse, and today I would like to invite you to look at a topic which has over the years been on and off throughout my history. It's the topic of acting. Now, when you're around different people, you perceive a level of judgment in their world and perceive what they can and can't receive. And I remember being at university and being totally different person depending on what group I was with. If I was hanging out outside the smoking, having a smoke, and I was one personality. When I was in the computer lab doing my computer science studies, I was another person. When I was at home, I was another person. When I was with my friends, I was another person. And I used to make myself wrong for being that, and I used to judge myself for having to change who I be depending on who I was with. And then when I started doing Access Consciousness, I got asked a question that just really rocked my world and opened up a totally different possibility. And that question was, what if that's a talent and ability? And, I've always loved acting. I, did a number of stage performances as a teenager, and it's always been fun for me to act. But I'd never looked at it as being a talent and ability when it came to being around people. I'd always judged it as a wrongness and that I wasn't being me. So when somebody asked me that question, and I apologize to whoever it was, but it was certainly somebody who has changed my world dynamically, and when they asked me that question, I was like, oh, so what is it that you've been unwilling to use to your advantage and to acknowledge as a talent and ability, that if you were to acknowledge it as a talent and ability, you could actually start to use it to create the life and living you desire? And one of the things that I've noticed once I started to acknowledge that I had that talent and ability was where I could be any energy I was required to be to create the result I desired with the people I was with, without defining me as that, without making me have to be that forever. Because what if you could be any energy that was required in any 10 seconds and yet never actually buy any of it as being true and real as you? What if you being you can be different in any 10 seconds? And what if when you are being you and you choosing what energy to show those around you, you're actually doing it from the joy of living, the joy of creation, the joy of manipulation. Like, what else is possible if you were being you and had no judgment of any energy? I just watched a video, and it was put out by Canon, and it was a video about this one guy, and he was brought in to 6 different photographers, and each of them was actually told a different backstory. For one of them, he was an ex-convict. For one of them, he was he'd saved someone's life. For another one, he was a self-made millionaire. For another one, they gave them different backstories as to who he was. And when they showed the 6 pictures, he looked like 6 completely different people, same person, and yet each one portrayed him in a totally different way. So what if none of those were actually him? Because they weren't. None of those backstories that were given were actually him, were actually who he be. And yet he was willing to play the role, and he was willing to create the result that was desired. Are you willing to do that in life? Are you willing to be whatever is required to create what you desire? And what if that wasn't wrong? What if you being you and having fun and being a manipulator of magnitude was actually a joyful contribution to the world? And what if you being you, whatever that looks like, is the contribution the world requires? To quote Dr. Dane here. Are you willing to choose it? Are you willing to be it? Are you willing to play with that? And are you willing to destroy and uncreate anything that shows up in your world that doesn't allow that, or has you start to judge you, or judge the situation, or judge the person that you're having to perform in this certain way for, or whatever like that? Would you be willing to clear out all your points of view and create your reality? Choose for you, be you, and create a totally different reality that's fun and ease and joyful for you. What else is possible if you choose it? Only you know, and only you can choose it. Have fun, and I'll see you real soon. Cheers, bye.